All the way back in October, there was the big Netflix and Spotify deal that we talked about on this show, right? We don't know how big the deal was, but basically they took a bunch of the video podcasts that were on Spotify and they forced Spotify to take them down from YouTube and make them video exclusive to Netflix. So basically, they say it in the sense that it's like, okay, this is a Spotify and a Netflix exclusive podcast. It's not really. All of the other regular podcast apps do it. The only place that they force them to take it down from is YouTube, by the way. So Netflix is like, YouTube doesn't get the content that we have. They want to be, all over the place. Of course, like we just talked about, on December 5th, there was the Netflix Warner Bros. Deal. So Netflix is really, really trying to acquire lots and lots of content. And then just last week on December 16th, this is from Emma Roth at The Verge. She says, on Tuesday, Netflix announced that it's teaming up with the radio giant iHeartMedia to add more than 15 video podcasts to its platform in the US next year, including My Favorite Murder, The Breakfast Club, Bobby Bones Presents the Bobbycast, and more. Under the deal, iHeartMedia video podcasts will no longer appear in their entirety on YouTube, the company spokesperson Jen Powers confirmed to The Verge. Netflix will also get access to new podcast episodes along with select episodes from each show's library. So Netflix just continues. They're buying more and more and more content because guess who they're competing with?
YouTube.
YouTube.
It's an interesting take on why Netflix won't win or even get close to competing against YouTube.
Tell me.
User interface.
Why is that?
YouTube's whole user interface is made to watch content on the phone or on the TV or whatever device. It's just so normal. Like it started in a browser, and then when they had a like a phone app, it was just everything is made for that. Netflix, I don't know how many people are watching Netflix on the phone.
Geez, we should look up those numbers for next week's show, but that is a really interesting question. I have no idea.
So whenever I watch, first off, there's issues on using Netflix on my phone because I have lots of kids and different sign-ins, so I've been booted out. Never booted out of YouTube.
Yeah.
So there's even just like how it functions. So it's interesting. I always say whatever's the easiest to use and has less friction almost always wins, as long as the value's on the other side of that whole user interface experience. So if you have a huge library, but it's hard to get in there and it's kind of janky or whatever, I've never liked the Netflix app personally.
Interesting.
And it didn't matter because I watch it on the TV, right? So
that's true.
And now they are probably still trying to win on the TV, but that's just what's interesting about YouTube. It's good across all devices. So it's like, will they ever? And the reason I bring this up is you're saying these podcasts.
Yeah.
Podcasts is something you do consume on the phone.
That's a great point.
So even like searching for content is so different on a Netflix. I don't see a place where people have the behavior to go to Netflix to consume a podcast. This is why the biggest story in terms of podcasts was Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
He left YouTube to go to Spotify, and then I think 2 years later, he re-signed with Spotify, but still was able to upload to YouTube after that. I think it was on both sides. It wasn't just him saying, I need to be on YouTube. I bet you they're like, hey, we could see in the data or whatever. So I feel like, I wonder it's going to be like similar to the Ninja guy that left Twitch. What was that platform? The Microsoft owned Matrix, or it was like, anyways, he ended up signing $100 million deal. That live stream platform shut down, and he goes back to YouTube and Twitch.
I know.
This is what I'm seeing. This is what it seems just like the same thing with Netflix right now.
It totally is. I will say, I think Netflix is a better position than Spotify. Spotify was kind of doing it out of a little bit of desperation. They had a little bit of swagger when they were doing it, but it was never really going to work because Spotify was never a video platform. This is more native to Netflix to have videos, right? Be the things that they go. And so, I mean, the bottom line is exactly what you're saying, which is that all of these deals, what's the similarity between all of them? They're acquiring library content. They want more and more content on Netflix because they need more and more content to keep you watching Netflix, right? By the way, they're also an advertising company now, so they need more and more content to keep you watching, to keep advertising to you as well. And so actually, Neutrally, I don't know if you have it, but we have a clip from the former CEO of Blockbuster who posted this to Reels, where he's talking about why Netflix is pushing so hard for this. So Neutrally, can we cue that up and play it?
Those movies is to acquire Warner Brothers and therefore get HBO. Now, why is Paramount aggressively
I don't know if you can start that back from the beginning. I think
after a deal was struck for Netflix to buy Warner Brothers Discovery, Paramount has now launched a hostile bid for Warner.
So what's behind all of this, and why is Netflix trying to buy a major studio like Warner Brothers? Well, it's not really for the movie production business as much as it is to gain access to more and more subscription content. You see, Netflix to survive has to have content. And HBO is one of the largest providers of subscription content. They've secured this content exclusively for HBO, and so the only way Netflix can access those movies is to acquire Warner Brothers and therefore get HBO.
Okay, now, you can pause it there, Neutrally.
I wish somebody had asked him, can you comment on YouTube and what you think about their content library? Because that's fascinating. First off, that it's a Blockbuster CEO, the former CEO.
Yes.
And then two, he knows so much about that industry because they kind of, in a way, had to do a similar thing, totally different kind of format in terms of like how you pay for the content, because we were paying per video
or per rental.
I think at the end there was like a deal, like unlimited rentals. But then now he's talking about this digital world and streaming, and that he can see it in a way that we can't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily 100% agree with him. I think that Netflix is going to lean into the studio side more than a lot of people think, including Hollywood, by the way. We've talked about it on the show. But his comment about the library is undoubtedly true. If the library wasn't there, Netflix wouldn't be doing this deal, and they need that library to keep people subscribed. So he's 100% right about that. Neutrally, can we play the back half of that video as well, which talks about Paramount?
Why is Paramount aggressively fighting this deal? Paramount and the other major motion picture studios don't want the subscription business to continue to grow and grow and grow. Why? Because most of the studios make their money on the cinematic release, and it used to be in the DVD window because that was more or less the pay-per-view window. That's one of the things that they're trying to protect to prevent the whole industry going to subscription, because here's the difference. Subscription basically is the all-you-can-eat buffet. And if you make a $500 million movie, you want to be able to and almost have to monetize that movie through the theatrical window and then hopefully the pay-per-view window before it gets tossed into the all-you-can-eat buffet. It's basic economics. Paramount's trying to protect the integrity of future movie growth and development. Netflix is trying to grow their base of subscription offerings. It's a classic battle. Be anxious to see who wins.
Yeah, and again, I don't 100% agree with the take that Netflix is going to kill the theater here, but his point still stands, and I love the idea of the all-you-can-eat buffet, because I know, Benji, I know exactly what you're thinking. What if there was an all-you-can-eat buffet that was free? What if that existed? Guess what it does? YouTube. YouTube is that.
Well, actually, my initial thoughts when he said the buffet was Las Vegas. The buffets, Vegas was known for cheap buffets until it was known for amazing buffets and then like high-end buffets. I always went to the high-end because I love food, but I didn't want to eat like 10 plates. I wanted to have a whole bunch of different dishes and maybe eat 2 or 3 plates. Definitely got full. But you know what happened to all those high-end buffets?
Really?
It's not as much of a thing. A lot of those buffets were replaced by eateries or like food halls.
I had no idea.
Again, economics. Everything had to be luxury, right? Because that's a brand or whatever. And then it got so competitive. Every single hotel had their grand buffet or whatever. And there's not that many that kind of survive, or there's some that went off the way. So you go to some of these hotels now, they don't have a buffet. They just have a fancy food court. Well, what do? You pay individually for everything that you eat.
Yeah.
It's just the economics that kind of works. Well, I think I'm I don't know this for a fact, but I bet you buffets were a cost to them, not a profit to them.
Oh, I totally
It was a way
believe
to
that.
get you into the hotel. So, when things get tight or whatever, that's the thing about Netflix. If he's using the buffet example, I think it's the same thing. They're always having to pay to fill their buffet.
Yeah.
And to your point, YouTube is not only a free buffet. People, I think we use this analogy. People show up with amazing food.
Yeah.
Like it might not be like the Gordon Ramsay, filet mignon. What's his dish? The beef Wellington. Yeah. But it is like still a ribeye steak that's perfectly seared and it's got like some like mushroom cream sauce. I make that, and that's literally on YouTube. And that's you can't compete. It's like impossible to compete. So that's why even with Netflix slowly creeping up, because they do have a subscription-based model, and yes, they're getting a bigger library. Well, man, just give YouTube some time. The library is not only going to get bigger, but it's also going to get higher in quality. Even though I'm a huge advocate for people using their phone, DJI Osmo, and vlogging in a very realistic, casual type of format, I still know there's going to be Mr. Beast of the world. There's still going to be short films and eventually full-on feature films because the distribution is there and it makes sense. And we're not talking just on the AdSense. I'm talking about branding and selling products, brand deals, and other kinds of opportunities. So it's like the Wild West and the gold rush frontier that always keeps expanding, and you could just be like somebody with a pickaxe and not even have a horse and walk out there and make something of yourself. Versus Netflix, it's just like New York City. There's a limitation, and the buildings have to get taller, and it's harder and harder, And then to the point about the movies, it's funny. It's like I wonder what creators think about this rant, like us talking about it, but I'll like tell you exactly what a creator should think. That world that was built on kind of a foundation of gatekeepers and tradition and big studios and just like so many moving parts, they're scared of Netflix because all that gets ruined. And what do you have? You just have a whole bunch of people that know how to do different things that now have to go find something to do versus before they were like Avengers Assemble and then you get Top Gun Maverick, like these amazing things. But the economics aren't there. You're out of luck. For the creator, it just means there's a reason Netflix needs this content because you are so good at creating content that YouTube doesn't have to pay for nothing.